Welcome back to the online podcast. This is now episode 17 or 16, I believe. Today we have a special guest, Icon Nikki, fashion designer, stylist, the whole nine, content creator, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. She does it. Well, it's yours.
Hey y'all, it's Nikki, aka Icon Nikki. I'm so excited and honored to be on the podcast today. Thank you, Zaire.
Thank you for joining us. First question for you. What kind of got you started? How'd you get into fashion and styling?
I always say that I've always been into fashion just because from as long as I could remember, like from playing Barbie doll age, when I was asked what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said fashion designer, which to me, I don't know what truly piqued my interest in that because I was so young, but because I've always had that, growing up, I was always doing something related to fashion, whether it was playing them online fashion games. Like, I remember one thing that pushed me into knowing how to dress was this fashion game called Movie Star Planet, and I remember like gaining recognition on that game for my outfits. Like, I literally they had something like a lookbook part of the game, and I would just be making like killer outfits with the clothes that they had there. And I don't know, I feel like that was something I did like middle school age, elementary, middle school, and that kind of pushed that. So from as long as I can remember, like growing up, I've always been doing something related to fashion, and that's sort of I've always been into it. Styling, um, to say how I got into styling, again, I feel like me being into fashion, styling kind of just came as I was able to buy clothes and high school when I got my first job. So now I was being able to play with clothes more. And I feel like that just paved the way for styling to be an interest as well.
Now, would you say fashion or a sense of style is something that people either like inherit or they just got, or is it something that you can acquire and it's like a skill set?
That is a great question. And I feel like that is going to be like definitely up for debate. However, from what I've noticed and what I truly believe, I feel like that the true art for styling is really you got it or you don't. However, I'm not going to say that someone can't learn, but if it's too by the books, it becomes you kind of don't you may not notice that sense of like not authenticity but like uniqueness, or someone could say aura. Like, I feel like true stylists, and I've talked to one before, they don't go to school for it. They don't necessarily learn it. They just know how to do it. And obviously, once you get your repetitions and you become more, become better at it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something you just got or you don't, and you get better with it when you have it and you practice. You'll get better with it. But again, someone can learn how to generically like by the book style, but I don't know if it's like unique or
Right. What was the
yeah.
process for you, kind of getting to that point? Obviously, you said you grew up, the Barbie books and just seeing it and, experiencing it hands on. Did you go to school and learn by the book, or is it just something you became a creative in your own world?
Definitely something I like a creative in my own world. Like, I did not go to fashion school. I didn't ever learn how to style or look up how to style. It's just something it became something I enjoyed doing. Like, I loved playing dress up and dressing up myself. So like, I don't know, now I'm dressing up other people. It's sort of just something I like to do and I find it fun. Yeah, never really by the books.
I did see recently you referred to styling as adult dress up, and I thought that was pretty
Yes.
funny. How does one make their ideas become reality in a creative space like that? Not just for yourself and dress, because we all, as a kid, like, oh, I have this outfit ready in my head, and you put it on, and it doesn't look good. For you,
Mhm.
you're not only doing that for yourself, but for others, there's different body types, different personalities, different images. How do you make that reality?
Man, it's really just taking that step. I like I've also experienced that styling others and myself, where I'll picture something in my brain and I put it on. I'm like, no, like that's just not working. So it's really when I take the step to just put it on, then I can figure out what to do next when it doesn't work. So those ideas you have, you gotta put them out and then look at that result. Look at what your ideas are in reality and make it further, like make it either work or see it work, you know? So it's like, I think just doing it, doing what I envision, do what you envision, and then work with what you got, what the reality is of it. I
What are
guess
some of
that's
what are some of the biggest challenges you face in doing that?
um okay, so far it would be they're kind of like internal challenges because at the end of the day, this is not something I'm doing professionally yet, like styling. So it's been for fun. They're always there. This is like a project. So when I am styling, technically there's no real challenge besides just either time crunch. Like I know that okay, I'm using this person's time. So I mean, all these things I'm making them try on, it the idea's gotta work because it's like I don't want this to be a waste. I want the looks to come out and not take so long. At the same time, maybe like nervousness, like or you can say anxiety where maybe if I'm trying something and it's just not come turning out right and I'm not sure what to where to go next, you can get kind of like nervous or feel like man, do I forget how to dress? Like is this are my ideas just not am I not gonna come up with any good looks this time? Like, you know, just mental battles, I feel mental challenges. That's a better way to describe it. But they're overcomable. I like you just shut them down. I think I have a decent mindset to think more optimistic and then if I believe in myself and push out those thoughts, I know I'm gonna come up with something. You know, it's like trusting yourself.
That's huge. I do want to pivot a little bit. Recently you went to New York Fashion Week, I believe, earlier this year or end of last year. What was that experience like for you?
Hectic. It's always hectic. This last New York Fashion Week that was in February was my third New York Fashion Week that I attended. So I've noticed that since my first one, it's become more professional heavy, which I'm glad because it's not like I'm wasting time if it's
Right.
not networking or making money or, you know, it's something business related. So last Fashion Week, it was something to go to, something to attend practically every day. And I had to map out times and periods where I just chill, like I just, you know, existed because it can be overwhelming. You're going to sleep late, waking up kind of early, back to back to back. I think I stayed 5 days. So it's like, it can be draining. So by the end of that week, it's a very hectic period, but it's usually fun. I would say the September Fashion Week was maybe more enjoyable because the weather was nicer. This February sucked. I'm telling you, like it was snowing right when I touched down, snowing. I'm trying to pull my luggages through the snow. I'm getting wet. I'm like, no, this is disgusting. And I took the train from the airport. I don't know why I did that. That was just awful. So yeah, this last Fashion Week was not only hectic, but just a little, you know, too cold, gross. But yeah, that's New York for you. It'd be like that.
Speaking of New York, obviously New York's been like a staple in the fashion, especially the East Coast. What makes it so special?
I feel like it's just the ideal city. Well, first of all, I know it's one of the fashion capitals in the world. So in the US, I believe it's one of the biggest fashion capitals. And there's, you know, Paris and others, Milan. So besides it being just known as like a fashion capital, it kind of gives this idea that the American dream is achievable in New York, and like everyone wants to go there. You have this mentality that there's so many opportunities there, more than a lot of other cities like Atlanta, and so I feel like that just makes it seem so special in my mind. Like the jobs, opportunities, the things you can achieve are endless in New York. Like that's kind of I feel like what makes it seem so special. And technically, when I do visit there, it seems like the things I see tend to support that idea, like connections I make there, opportunities I grasp that have to do with there, it seems a lot more prominent when I'm in New York compared to when I'm here. So
Now, speaking of like the networking and the whole fashion week as a whole, how crucial is it, not just in business as a whole and just life in general, but specifically in the fashion industry and styling? Just how important is it for who you know, what you know what I mean? The whole networking as a whole, how important is that for you?
I think it's extremely important. Like not just for me, but like you said in the fashion industry, it is so important because there are so many people trying to get what you want, get what a lot of people want in this field that it really sometimes a lot of the times I'm noticing people get certain opportunities because of who they know. It even works in agencies like when you're signed to an agency, usually the better the agency is, better connections they have because through them you can connect with those brands or those companies. So it really is almost like who you know. And I know that's similar in other industries, but yeah, you can have the skills and the talent, but if you don't meet the right people at the right time or make certain connections, you might not see certain opportunities. And that's what I've learned like a lot in the last couple of years.
That's huge. Now, I do want to talk a little bit, or not a little bit, more about you. Now, I wouldn't say it's you have a very confident Instagram name, an icon, Nikki. So, for those at home, what makes you iconic?
I like to say that, well, first of all, I have to start with what even made me make think that name or like how it started. First of all, the idea just dropped in my mind as that's catchy. Like that was the initial where the name even came from. However, I started to pose this idea like, and I'm an icon, like I'm iconic, more of like almost like a manifesting way. Like I didn't look like it when I started saying it. Like when I envision an icon, I envision someone who's influential, someone who is unique, someone who stands out, and someone who's just that girl. Like you're just cool. Like so when I started like calling myself that or saying I'm an icon, I wasn't necessarily looking like that, but um I would just say that just with time, I've noticed that I've started to stand out more, obviously grown in influence. So I'm starting to look more like those words that I mentioned that I feel an icon represent. So yeah, I feel like those things make me sort of iconic. People have said how I've influenced them. I've had I feel like I've grown a lot in my style and setting myself apart. And yeah, it's really just it's a hype word to me. So I use it like to hype myself up, and I feel like each day I'm getting closer to being more of an icon, more of the icon I envision.
That's beautiful. Who are some icons or influences that you've had along your journey?
So for the most part, I feel like I always say like a lot of different things can influence me or have influenced me. So there's not one specific person I can like know and say like this is my influence. However, I do know like if I can name like 3 accounts off the top of my head right now that I would consider this person an icon in whatever they're doing. And it's really random. It's not like I know there's quite a few more other females or males that I know of, but just off the top of my head, there is a Fin this woman from Finland. Wait, I don't know exactly where. She's just somewhere in Europe and she's like middle age. Her name's Marissa, and so her Instagram is Marissa Leps underscore. I just think she's so cool, and I consider her an icon because it's like you don't see people who look like her or her age maybe dressing the way she does, or if you do, they're probably not posting on social media like us Gen Z people are, but she does, and I find it like she's just such a cool individual, how she represents herself, her style. So I would say that even if she's not like a massive influencer, she looks very cool, and that's one of the things I said is like an icon, someone who's cool, someone who's themselves, someone who can be influential. Another one of my mutuals, her name's Ellie Warren. Ellie Warren. Ellie Warwick, that's her Instagram handle. She's an influencer. She's not super big. She has under 50K followers, but I just think she's so cool. Like she goes to SCAD fashion school and she started designing and I just love her uniqueness. Like she's just unapologetically herself and I just feel like that's such iconic behavior. Like you're just cool. Another influencer that I follow and I've been following for a little bit who also styles is I don't know if you heard of Sierra Rena.
Name
Sierra
sounds
Rena.
familiar.
Yeah, she's also super cool. She styles. She has her own unique sense of style. I think that's an icon. She's definitely influential. Influential. I don't know why I'm butchering that word, but yeah, that's another person I would consider an icon. So yeah.
All right. Now, lastly, we do some little fun final questions.
Hmm.
What's one song to describe your style?
This is one of the difficult questions. I'm not going. I really let me see real quick because I couldn't think about it before. I don't even know now. Honestly, hmm.
No pressure.
Yeah, I seriously like I genuinely don't know. Like I don't even know my favorite song. So it's
What?
like
Give me an artist.
an artist that could. I think the issue with this question is I don't even know how to truly describe my style. So that like I can't even sector in what artist or what song fits whatever describes my style. It's I feel like my style is quite fluid and ever changing at the moment and versatile. So yeah, I genuinely don't know. And it could also be that I just don't listen to enough music that deep to like know.
Yeah. But that
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't know.
that's what makes it unique though for you, is that there is no one set artist or song to describe you or your style. So I think that's actually a great answer. Um, favorite current trend in fashion.
Oh, favorite current trend? Hmm. I would say animal print.
Mm.
Me personally, I really love mixing prints and patterns, and then I started noticing that that's something that is starting to trend or was trending or something. So yeah, I think just animal print. I love that. I forever love prints. Like, yeah.
And on the flip side, worst trend right now.
Hmm.
It's gonna be a hot take.
Yeah, it's gonna be like one thing I noticed, I don't pay too much attention to trends, or I may not notice something as a trend unless it's like I like it and then I start to notice, okay, everyone has it. But I should know off the top of my head or just have an idea. My least favorite trend right now, kind of trending, depending on the pant though, because I've seen a few that it looks like it looks cool, but the double pant look.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like the 2 pants in one or where it looks like you're sagging, but you're not. I don't always like that. Like, I feel like that's been trending. It seemed like it's still lingering here. Me personally, anytime I got sent pants like that, I don't think I ever wore them. If I did once and it was because it was maybe not that bad or subtle, yeah. I don't really like that trend. At least just not on me. I've seen it done right, but I don't know.
Okay, what's one style you would want to bring back from the past?
Mm, I would say I would say that Victorian corset top look on women, and I don't know if it's because 'cause I want to get more corsets right now, and so I'm just thinking, like, that's something that's, it comes and goes every now and then,
Yeah.
but it goes way back, obviously. So yeah, the corset look, I think that's so cool, and like how you can layer with that. It doesn't have to be just wearing a corset and a dress. You can corset in layers of clothes and just make it look, different. I like that.
And then lastly, who would be a dream celebrity for you to style or work with?
Hmm. Dream celebrity.
Manifest it.
Literally, I should know this. I would
Yeah.
love to work with. All right, let's say Pharrell. I think he's super
Mm.
cool. Like I love what he's done at Louis Vuitton. So imagine they asked me to like style. He asked me to style a show or some of his pieces or something like that. That'd just be really cool. I feel like that's a dream, and he seems to have like really good eye in fashion and all that. Yeah, probably Pharrell.
A good one. And then here on the Line podcast, we always do one last question to get you to open up a little bit. What makes you smile?
Hmm. A lot makes me smile, but I would say one big thing that keeps me up, like keeps me smiling despite what comes my way, is knowing that no matter what, God's got my back, like that I'm his child and his purpose in my life will be fulfilled because no matter what comes our way, I can always rely on him and trust in him. So at the end of the day, that's what truly makes me smile deep down and keep going no matter what.
Yeah, okay, okay. Love that. That's beautiful. With that being said, that was episode again 16 or 17 of Online Podcast. Again with Icon, Nikki. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.